Learning to water launch the Nexus is best done in a large, open beach environment. Practice flying the kite to the edge of the window and then down towards the beach at about a 35-40 degree angle. Once the kite hits the beach, pull the upwind wingtip towards you. This will allow the wind to blow the sail onto the beach and should keep it in a nice stable position. Once you're in this position, this is where things start to get interesting. Pull on the lines to lift the sail into position so it's standing on the beach like a wall on its leading edge. Then push the bar away from your body to make the lines slack. The upwind wingtip will then catch the wind and flip over into a launch position. Try to hook into your sheet-out mechanism on the bar to reduce the power. Repeat this procedure so that you get comfortable with how the kite reacts and what to look for in the launch. If you're well practiced in this launching technique, it should be very easy for you to water launch the kite. Notice there's a position when you have to put tension back on the lines for the thing to fly off. Repeat this exercise as many times as you feel comfortable with. The more you do it, the more proficient you'll get at water launching the kite. In this shot, Mike flew the kite down to the beach perfectly, but the launch doesn't seem to want to go up into a wall. That's because Mike is standing too far off wind. He needs to walk to the left into a more upwind position so the wind catches the inside of the sail, not the outside of the tip. Now Mike's more into the wind, the kite's gone up into a wall and he starts the relaunch procedure again. Remember, you have to give the lines a lot of slack to make it rotate. Start practicing the water launch in waist-deep water with your harness on and experimenting with various places across the window. If your kite folds like this in the water, it's a good indication that your leading edge needs more pressure. You need to learn downwind launches, where the kite launches powered up and you have to fly it to the edge of the wind. Get confident with body dragging so that you don't end up injuring yourself. Once you become proficient at shallow water launches, it's time to take it to the deeper water. This is Chris Calthrop using a 4.4 Nexus. Use exactly the same procedure as you learnt on the beach. Reduce the tension on the lines and let the kite go flat. The upwind wingtip then flips over and the kite launches out of the water. Here you see the kite hitting the water. Chris then takes a lunge forwards to remove the tension from the lines. The kite flips onto its back and the wind lifts the wingtip, flips it over and it takes off again. It does require practice, so stick with it on the beach. If you get a puncture in your leading edge, lay your kite out face up on the floor with the leading edge folded away from the battens. Undo the end closure, take out the bladder and fold the reinforcement and lark's head align with a loop to the end of the bladder. Then push the valve inside the leading edge so that it doesn't foul when you pull it out. Open up the other end of the leading edge tube and pull the bladder through, making sure the other line slides smoothly from the other end. Once you've fixed your puncture, reinsert the bladder by pushing the end with the lark's head into the leading edge, making sure the line comes out smoothly, and folding the leading edge bladder once so that the valve ends up in a position opposite the hole in the leading edge when you pull the thing back through. Pull gently on the other line to insert the leading edge, Guide it in, avoiding snags, keeping the fold in the same place all the way down the bladder. When you get to the valve, just tuck it into the leading edge. Keep pulling through until you've got the same amount hanging out of each side of the leading edge. Look for the valve. It should be sitting just below the hole. If it isn't, you may have to take the tube out and try once more. Pull the valve through, making sure you haven't nipped the bladder around the edge of the valve, and Lark's had one of the bridle lines onto the valve just to stop it disappearing back into the leading edge. Remove the loop from the end of the bladder and fold the bladder once at the point where the reinforcement ends. Slide this piece into the leading edge tube so the end of the bladder matches the position of the fold in the leading edge. This is what it should look like with the folded edge of the bladder next to the fold point on the leading edge. Fold the leading edge back over and tuck underneath the strap. Use exactly the same procedure for doing the trailing edge tube, except this time when you fold it twice so that the valve is facing upwards in the center of the tube. You'll find the trailing edge tube is a little more difficult to put in as the curve is bigger, so hold the sail tightly at both ends. Pull the bladder through until both ends are showing by the same amount. This should leave the valve in the center. Open up the Velcro on the center batten and look inside the hole for the valve. Remember, when you close this after inflation, the two toggle lines should be either side of the batten. Remove the line from the end of the trailing edge tube and fold it back once in the same way as you did for the leading edge. Push it inside the tube, keeping the folded edge as close to the end of the sail as possible. Then fold the Velcro closure over the batten, making sure the bridle is out of the way. Do the same for the other tip. And then fold the main piece down over the whole assembly. And then you're ready to inflate the kite.